It hasn't been the best of weeks for late-night American talk show hosts. But Trevor Noah very much delivered a hold my beer moment to James Corden last night. Just take a look at this.
Watching the story of Rishi Sunak becoming England's first Prime Minister of colour, of Indian descent, of all of these things, and then seeing the backlash is one of the more telling it's just one of the more telling things about how people view the role that they or their people have played in history. And what I mean by that is this. You hear a lot of the people saying, oh, they're taking over. You know, now the Indians are going to take over Great Britain, and what's next, and what? And I always find myself going, so what?
What? What's the backlash exactly? Who's seen the backlash? There seems to be an entirely imaginary thing. It's like this is just happening in Trevor Noah's head. I don't know if I missed something, but I think not. Now, joining us from Alabama to discuss Noah's bizarre rant is American political commentator CJ Pearson.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you with us. What did you make of this, CJ? I mean, it just strikes me as something from a different planet.
Yeah, but it's also a broken record. Unfortunately, we have to deal with that here in America every single day of people like Trevor Noah looking to blame racism on every single thing in the world. You know, they call our country fundamentally racist, and I guess now you guys are getting the same treatment. But notice in that segment, he didn't point out the people that are actually attacking the new prime minister because they're not from the Conservative Party. So I wonder who those people must be.
No, but apparently this all came from one caller calling into a popular radio show here. I mean, there has been... Rishi Sunak's coronation as our Prime Minister has been welcomed by everybody.
Including by President Biden, who called him Rashad Sunak or something. But yeah, anyway, apart from that, everyone seems to have welcomed it warmly.
Why do you think? Why do you think he's so keen to paint the UK as having a problem with us having a prime minister with Indian parents?
Because he doesn't possess the depth to talk about real issues. He doesn't possess the depth to talk about global inflation. It doesn't possess the depth to talk about UK politics or anything like that. But what he can do is make everyone out to be some racist boogeyman. This is exactly what the left does every single day. Where there isn't an issue with race at all, they make it to be as if it's something that you should consume yourself with every single day. People are championing the new prime minister of UK, and for good reason. It's a huge milestone. But let's also point out the historical fact that every single modern PM that we've had that's been a female has been from the Conservative Party. And now the first Indian English man who is a British PM from the Conservative Party. Where's Labour at on that? I don't see him at all.
Well, one of the other interesting things about this, CJ, is the fact that all of this has this weird American lens put over it. I mean, you know, every country has its own historical problems, every country has its own issues. But this is like watching well, first of all, Trevor Noah, who grew up in South Africa, so maybe he sort of sees some of this through the lens of apartheid. But he then transfers that onto America, and then from that, transfers that onto the UK. And it seems to be it just doesn't work. And the most remarkable thing about our Prime Minister is the fact that race and religion weren't an issue at any stage in the campaign for anyone. Nobody said he should get the job because of his race or his religion. They said he should get the job because they thought he was the best person for the job.
Yeah. You know, and what's most exhausting about the narrative that you're hearing from Trevor, and this has plagued America for far too long, is this perpetual need to be a victim and to see victimhood in every single story. This is a moment of triumph. This is a moment of something that you would think Trevor Noah would be heralding, but instead he's trying to point out racism simply where it isn't. And you have to wonder, why is there that incessant need for them to have racism in a society? Why is there this incessant need for them to have someone be a victim? It just goes to show that the only thing they know how to do is divide and conquer. And they seek to do that through race, religion, and so much more. And yet they blame conservatives for doing just that, but they do it every single day.
But I think, is it not true to say there are still problems with race, and we have still some issues here in Britain, and you still definitely have some issues in America, and these problems exist around the world. But it seems like a sort of cry wolf situation here, where why wasn't he Why wasn't he celebrating how enthusiastic we were with our new Prime Minister?
It wouldn't get him the ratings, that's why.
Well, I think it's just made him look rather stupid and ill-informed myself.
Yeah, you're completely right. And as a person of color, I completely agree with you. But the thing about race here is you call everything racist, no one's going to believe you when something actually is racist. And that's the thing that these people don't understand.
That's what I think is undermining real issues.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly. This is a moment to be celebrated and not shamed. And it's unfortunate that Trevor decided to rain on what otherwise is a very historic moment in the UK right now.
And what about in America, CJ? How's this gone down? Is Trevor Noah's ratings and the late night shows going to go up or down on the basis of this?
Well, notice Trevor Noah is leaving the late night show, so I guess that says everything that needs to be said about his incredible career here.
He can go out on a sour note.
Thanks, CJ.
Exactly that.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.